The material body of man has 33 centers in which he should be able to function mentally. When man is balanced in these material centers, he is capable of functioning consciously on higher planes of manifestation. Through the consciousness of man, the frequency of a planet's vibration is amplified to a higher spiritual state. Man is the channel through which the power of divine intelligence manifests. Learn the laws of nature, the true nature of the soul, and the ways of the Creator. The 33 centers spoken of also refer to the 33 principles of the Kabbalah. The 33 degrees of Masonry stem from these 33 principles. Much use is made of Kabbalistic symbolism in the higher degrees of Masonry, and even entire rites have been built upon it. The Mason symbolizes the spiritual plane as the broken triangle, a symbol that he has climbed the 7 steps. The 7 ways to bliss are 7 attributes, and passed into the 32 degrees and entered the 33rd, which is a symbol of the supreme plane of the spirit. Continuing with the Brotherhood of the White Temple teachings, we find as regards the soul. The soul of man that we hear and know so little about is the actual, directing, activating force in every man's life, from a few weeks after birth until the time of transition. That activating principle, carrying within it the experience and knowledge of the ages, directs the physical manifestation of man into certain paths of life and certain environments according to the law of cause and effect. We also know little concerning the relationship of the soul to the oversoul or divine essence, and the powers that lie inherent and potential in that soul. The oversoul is the higher spiritual quality of man. This term is used because, like a mighty bird whose wings spread over the world, the oversoul broods over the finite expressions or body of man, and no matter what he does or where he goes, it is always present with its overshadowing wings. The oversoul never directs man in the wrong channels of life. It is man's own willfulness. It is his manifestation within the negative expression of the world that causes him to go in directions opposite from that of the still small voice or oversoul speaking within him. Man looks only to the outer or external self. It is that intangible something which man calls the soul that produces the ego or personality of the individual. God created man and breathed the breath of life into him. The real and true life of man is the breath of God, or soul of God within him, expressing itself through his physical manifestation. This soul is the same in all men, and all souls are a part of the oneness of God. The soul is also the formless nature of God. It may never be destroyed, but exists eternally. And all things, material or manifest, are a result of the concentrated thought of the soul working through the material. The ancient wisdom says the soul has an actual point of manifestation in the physical body. By its very nature, it must always manifest and remain in the spiritual plane of consciousness. But also, it must manifest through the medium of the fleshly envelope we call the human body. The soul, spiritual in nature, derives that spiritual nature from the source of all being, which is God, the divine mind, or universal consciousness. The quality remains the same regardless of the term by which we designate it. The ancients taught that the soul is a spiritual thing. It is not in the physical body, that the physical body is only a vehicle of expression, that it is a vessel into which the spirit manifests to activate or express in the material world. It perhaps is the bottle into which the wine of the new spirit is poured, and the old bottle must be transmuted and made new. It must become the perfect vessel for the divine spirit to manifest in. In some persons, this soul or force is able to flow more freely than in others, and they are said to be highly developed spiritually. In everyone, the soul expresses itself to some degree through what we call hunches or intuition. However, the average person is not in tune with the infinite. The objective mind is not trained to recognize the meanings in a true sense. We must change and raise our vibration so that we are perfect instruments through which the soul can operate and express itself freely. For the soul knows all things, and being a part of all things is never wrong. When man has reached that point, he is capable of obeying implicitly the direction of the cosmic mind. He has regained his heritage, oneness with the Creator. Many people think there are new and old souls. There are no such things. All souls have existed in the world since the beginning. The difference is that some souls have worked to master and overcome life to a greater degree than others, as reflected in their life and actions, and we call them old souls, while others just laze around, incarnation after incarnation, doing nothing, and we call them young souls or lazy souls. We should all get active and not be lazy, being accustomed to work in certain grooves. The mind has to be trained into new grooves of thinking and action. Nothing worthwhile is gained by laziness. Our brothers assured me that all of the people of your planet will have to learn to live in a different light. There are many things that they do, and they call it sin. It could be done in a different light. It would not be a sin. Well, what is sin? What is sin to one may not be sin to another. Each and every race of people have had their own peculiar sins or things which they considered sin. However, the only sin a person can make is when a person attempts to break some divine or cosmic law. The true sin is where one has put themselves out of harmony with divine law and lives in darkness. Keeping the divine law is placing ourselves in harmony with the divine will. Let thy will, not mine, be done. The Church teaches that the sins of the father are visited upon the children even unto the third generation. And then they say that God is a just God. The truth is that the condition into which a soul is born is not the result of the sins of the father, but of its own sins committed in past incarnations or lives. We do not suffer from what someone else did, but for what we ourselves did in the past. Everything which comes to us comes because of our own actions. God created law. Now we either move and live in harmony with that law, or we break ourselves against it. We cannot break the law. A misunderstanding of the sacred teachings has caused all men's lack of knowledge of the true nature of himself and of the soul, and it is certain that man, even in spite of all the theologies, is going to emerge into a knowledge of his own soul self and his own soul power. The human soul is like a seed from which springs a plant, on which is a bud, and the bud blossoms into a flower. The flower did not spring at once from the seed. Realize that you will gain from the universe or divine exactly what you put into it. Do not say, I am God's perfect child. Open the door and let me come in. The door will open when you accomplish by living the life within. You must realize there are no royal road, only one of growth. There is no royal road, only one of growth. Chapter 5. Into Cosmic Light. Our brothers professed that the Creator, in His infinite wisdom, condemns not any part of His creation. Yet people of earth make a sad mistake. They are the ones who judge others. With greater understanding they would cease to judge. They would only analyze others and not condemn them for their shortcomings. For each and every one is learning his lessons in the school of life through experiences and mistakes. Everyone should learn to live in the ever-present, not yesterday or tomorrow. They have only today. The past does not matter except to correct the mistakes made and remedy the now, so that they will not be repeated. Live from there, and the future will always be. I wish to emphasize their statement. We do not find fault to degrade the people of